If you've seen Coraline, you likely know that the rock duo They Might Be Giants supplied a short song for one of the most memorable scenes in the film. But did you know they were hired early on to create an entire musical soundtrack for Coraline? But aside from that 28-second fragment, that entire soundtrack was scrapped during production. In this video, we'll tell the story of the lost They Might Be Giants Coraline soundtrack, what happened, and what, if anything, survived. Coraline is a darkly charming, stop-motion animated film based on Neil Gaiman's award-winning book of the same name. As often happens with books, the story and the look of the characters was transformed as the tale made its way to the silver screen. Henry Selick, the director of A Nightmare Before Christmas, was hired on to direct the project. He brought along a lot of his Nightmare team, including designers, set builders, and animators. Naturally, those voices and hands had an impact on the look and feel of the story, and the work was transformed by the shared vision of that team. Henry Selick told Gothamist that working with the Johns was actually happenstance. Someone I worked with, Courtney Booker, who did a little of the early color work on Coraline, she did a rock video for them, for the song Bastard Wants to Hit Me. And so I told her I was a big fan, and we managed to get together. But things apparently were not meant to be. Coraline was intended initially to be a musical, sort of along the lines of Nightmare Before Christmas, ostensibly with sung musical numbers propelling the plot along. But the feel of the Coraline film was continually changing in production, and it became apparent that the musical approach no longer made sense. A decision was made to remove all but one of the musical numbers by They Might Be Giants, and to halt production on the rest of the songs. Other Father Song is the one song that's still in the film. It's extremely cool and I'm glad it's in there, but it does kind of stick out like a bit of a sore thumb in contrast to the rest of the film. The other songs actually used in the film were in a more traditional film score vein, composed by French composer Bruno Coulet. Coulet also scored two amazing nature documentaries, which we highly recommend: Microcosmos and Winged Migration. They actually did some other demo songs that are brilliant. They're beautiful, but the film just kind of changed. It wasn't going to become a musical. I was very happy to work with them, and I'd love to work with them on another show where they have like 10 songs in it. I'm wondering whether to convince them to write all new songs for their like Yellow Submarine, or to just work with them and pick the 10 best songs and see if I could find a way to string them together for a story. Selick must have been feeling overly optimistic that day, because They Might Be Giants have a markedly different impression of the energy around their departure from the film. According to John Flansburgh, They Might Be Giants were, quote, basically cut out of the film. It was a strange experience. They basically wanted the music to be more creepy. It was unfortunate. We did a lot of preliminary work, there were a lot of false starts, and we never really found a rhythm to work with them. I guess there's one of our songs in the movie momentarily, but it's sort of unfortunate. The thing that struck me about that quote is it sounds like John Flansburgh was so annoyed by the whole experience that he couldn't even bring himself to watch the movie, which is a bit sad. It sounds like a communication breakdown led to bad feelings. I can't help but imagine an alternate version of Coraline with more sung musical numbers by They Might Be Giants and a different feel. In addition to the 30 seconds of what they call the Other Father Song, They Might Be Giants wrote Careful What You Pack for Coraline. That song eventually ended up on the album The Else. There were rumors at one point, at least, that some of the other songs meant for Coraline might be also released as their own thing in the future. But that was years ago, and aside from Other Father Song and Careful What You Pack, no other They Might Be Giants song has been named as originating with Coraline. Also based on that quote, I'm guessing They Might Be Giants are probably not into making their Yellow Submarine with Henry Selick. Sadly, I think that ship, or rather that submarine, has sailed. What do you think? What They Might Be Giants songs might have been intended for Coraline? And what would the soundtrack have sounded like if they had been given free rein, and how would that have changed the film? Were the producers justified in their decision? Please comment below and let me know what you think. And ballers, check out this video. It's about CBGBs and it talks about They Might Be Giants' first appearance there. It's kind of cool. Oh, and click like and subscribe.